made in the likeness of men, made in the likeness of sinful flesh. To me, this has to mean that Jesus wasn't a man. He had not enveloped himself in real sinful human flesh. We saw that Paul and the early Christians felt that the human flesh, the very body of men, was sinful, innately sinful, and the reason for that is because of original sin. So they couldn't possibly have thought Jesus had been born of a sinful woman. We saw this idea of becoming like a man in the ascension of Isaiah, where Jesus descends through the levels of heaven to take on more and more the appearance of a man. And we saw the phrase, "They will think he is flesh and a man." To me, that has to mean that Jesus wasn't an actual man. He merely looked like a man. And this was enough for the demons to kill him. And we saw corroboration that the demons were the one who killed Jesus, because the Romans nor the Jews would have killed Jesus just because he looked human. But that was good enough. That was a good enough reason for the demons to kill him. And inadvertently, by killing him, they instigated God's plan of salvation. So, we've seen quite a bit of evidence in this video to support the idea that the early Christians did not believe Jesus was an actual human, but had taken on the shape, the physical appearance of a human in order to trick the demons into killing him so that he could die and get the souls out of Sheol and pay for the sins of mankind. And all of this happened in the mythical realms of heaven. And lastly, we saw this idea of Jesus offering himself in heaven corroborated by the author of Hebrews. We learned that Jesus could never have been a high priest at all if he was on earth, and that Jesus offered himself in the heavenly tabernacle, not an earthly tabernacle made by human hands. So, the evidence is now out on the table, and you can judge it for what you think it's worth. Well, I don't know what the next Jesus Myth video is going to contain, but all I do know is I'm getting pretty hungry, and I think I'll eat this biscuit. Ow! Why, it's not a biscuit at all. It's a sculpture of a biscuit. Dang it. But one thing I can say is, it certainly has an amazing likeness to a biscuit.